fire from the top of the house. Company 32, engines 31, 40, and 30 for SU 37, truck 34, class 1, 423.
Alright, welcome to a brief training video here on vehicle placement and emergency scenes. First one we're looking at here is a motor vehicle accident in the county. It's a two-car collision at a three-way intersection. The first arriving PD unit, it's white for county, obviously. First responding PD unit is going to approach from this direction. In theory, the first responding PD unit will approach from this direction, and they will go into a blocking pattern. We're going to be tilted to the left here, like that. Next unit is going to approach from this direction, and they're going to probably won't want to get up against the accident, probably also won't want to do something like this. So we're going to put them off to either the middle or the side. Assuming we have a unit approaching from this side, we're going to have them coming in like that. The ambulance. When the ambulance arrives, we're going to have the ambulance come off to the side here. But when we have space, when we have enough car length space here, we probably end up allowing traffic to flow around that side of the AI traffic. So we'll instead put the ambulance here. Next thing up, we'll have the fire engine roll up. Fire engine, we want to have the tools close to the accident scene. And for the ambulance, we want the ambulance close to the accident scene, but able to get in and out of the scene here. So we're going to pull up and have the engine parked there. Another option would be to have the engine pull up, and the engine will be doing a blocking pattern instead of the cruisers. You might want to consider shutting down an intersection for an accident like this. You can use the trucks to your advantage, so the first engine that rolls up will do the first block, so he's nice and close. The second engine will show up, do another block here, and then we have the PD units assisting in the block, or what have you. And the ambulance will be close to the edge. For easy access, easy exit point. On the scene of an accident, remember PD is going to be responsible for the whole traffic flow. They might show up first, they'll do an evaluation of the patients real quick, they'll radio into dispatch, let them know what's going on. And so the fire units have an idea of what to expect when they show up on scene. Fire units will show up scene, the accident scene is theirs. PD, your job is to direct traffic, keep the scene secure, and conduct an investigation if necessary. Next example I have is going to be a vehicle or an accident that's off the roadway already. We're going to do it on this curve here as an example. And we're going to look at an SUV that's into a tree over here. Okay, it's off the road, it's not blocking traffic. So for this, I'm going to ask the units, when they show up to a call like this, even if the cop car is coming from this direction, flip around and park as if you're doing a traffic stop. Just block this side here. Okay? Keep yourself a little distant, just in case we have an issue with the car that is in the collision. The ambulance unit is going to pull up past the accident, or if they're coming from this direction, even such, you can pull up in the opposite lane of traffic and park near the accident scene, but not on top of it. Must be on level ground. There we go. The engine, pull up here, tool's nice and close. Okay, this gives us a blocking pattern here. So the IA, even sometimes the IA traffic might freak out and try to come in through the middle here. But you should be good if you got a bunch of people standing there. The traffic will come up, it'll go around to the side here, and flow back over. Another option would be to have the first due engine, instead of pulling up forward like that, move the cop car, have the first due engine pull up and do blocking, and then have the cruiser just pull up to the side like that and assist with the blocking. Alright, next one we're going to look at is going to be a head-on collision blocking the roadway here. Do this down here on 68. Sports car, oh no. Head-on collision. Okay, this is going to be an example of where we're going to shut down the middle of the roadway. In this particular, on 68, because of the wide shoulders, we're going to shut down the middle. We might allow traffic to flow around the side. The other option would be to shut the road down. So when attempting to shut a road down like this, you want cruisers, because you don't really have to worry about the traffic is going to try to stay in its lane. At least the computer traffic will. Computer traffic will try to stay in its lane. So have a cruiser here. You can have a cruiser here. And then, for this example, they're most likely coming in this direction. The ambulance can pull up. The ambulance is going to pull up. We're going to park right here. The ambulance. And the fire truck can either, fire truck might pull up here, might come around and pull up here, or the other recommendation would be to come around the cruiser and park at a blocking angle, like so. If there's a second due truck or a command car or whatever, they can park on this side here or over here. Same with DOT. DOT can be substituted in for any of the second due engine companies or whatever that I would be showing here. They are just as usable on the scene here. So, like I said, head-on collision. In this case, the road is wide enough we can utilize the space we have and still keep traffic flowing. Like I said, PD, DOT, you guys got to make sure the scene is, not going to have traffic flowing into it. It can go around it, it can go, and stop, but don't let it get into the accident scene. If we're trying to block this roadway, my recommendation would be to utilize fire apparatus with your cruisers. Something of that nature. We won't have to tie up too many cruisers, because if you try to block this entire road with a police car, it's going to take like 3 or 4 of them. If you're doing a landing zone, you can do a landing zone up on a field or a open baseball park or something like that. The other option is on the roadway. For landing zones, you most definitely have to shut the road down. Most definitely want to shut the road down. You want to give at least 100 by 100 space, that is, feet. And you want at least 1 fire truck on the scene. God forbid something goes wrong. It's going to be marked. The incident commander is going to be in contact with the air crew, and the air crew will come down and I guess it's not it. They'll come in, they'll land, they'll do their thing, and then they'll be out. Make sure you give them space though, and make sure you are aware of the traffic and handling the traffic appropriately. Okay, we have an accident in a 4-way intersection. I personally will try to avoid doing accidents in intersections like this one, just because of how crazy it's going to be. because I can guarantee that trying to do an accident scene in an intersection like this will be chaotic. So, same concept. We want to make sure that the accident scene is going to be locked down completely. So we're going to try to create a barrier around the accident scene with the emergency vehicles that are showing up here. So, in this specific scenario, the ambulance is going to be coming from this direction. So the ambulance that will show up, it might pull around over here, per se. Again, the ambulance is going to want to be close, but with easy and access and exit. In many cases, the ambulance might try to back up into a spot. We'll do that for an example here. The fire truck will roll up, and fire truck will be right near the accident. Fire truck needs to assist in the blocking. Okay, and for this assignment, we might have two rigs, and make sure there's you can make sure there's space between the vehicles. Just don't don't allow there to be enough for cars to come through. Like this here is a little too wide because the cars coming this way might try to make a right hand or a left hand turn out of there, and they might end up going into the accident scene trying to avoid the fire truck there. Working an accident scene in a divided highway like this here, you can have obviously a very diverse set of accidents. We'll just use a car versus tree for example here. You have a divided highway here. We're going to want to move all the emergency vehicles up here on the left side. Again, blocking the accident scene. So cruiser will park here. Cruiser needs to be a little bit spaced away. Actually, we'll probably even move back a little farther. There's a couple ways this could happen. Cruiser could be a little farther away. Ambulance will show up, ambulance will pull past, and the fire truck will either pull up and kind of settle itself right here, settle itself right about there or so, or the other option is the cruiser is up farther and the fire truck will be back here, and the fire truck will be doing blocking. Alright, next thing we're going to do here is we're going to make an example of a structure fire. First, do engine company, because we don't use ladders in this in DOSLS, but if we were to use ladder trucks, the truck right in the front yard needs to be the ladder truck. They can beach it, you can pull it up into the front driveway, whatever you want whatever you want to do with it, and that's where the ladder truck placement is going to be. Ladder truck needs to be right in the front of the structure, ready to go. It's a little different on commercial buildings. Commercial buildings usually will tend to be larger, and you can go all the way around it because of alleyways in the back, alleyways on the side. But ladder trucks need to have easy access to the structure itself, and then the engine companies will be basically surrounding the ladder company, or the truck company. But for this example, we're using engines only, engines, ambulances, etc. The engine's going to pull in. With a driveway like this, I'm going to recommend that the engine pulls in partially to the driveway. The second due engine can park outside, third due same. And then if we have hydrants nearby, one of the engines should be hitting a hydrant on their way in. So wherever, let's say there's a hydrant here, our first engine's going to come in, they're going to hit that hydrant, and they're going to come down the rest of the road and they're going to stage down in front of the house. Also, if there's sufficient engine company or vehicles on scene, the other units can stand by at the hydrants they're assigned at, or that they're nearby. The engine can stay there near the hydrant. Ambulance will show up. Ambulance should not be right in front of the house. Depending on if space allows, the ambulance can be on the opposite side of the street. They can be on the opposite side of the street, or they can park down the street, whatever is easiest in this scenario. Look to be in the neighboring houses' yards, things like that. And in this case, some fire cases might only take up one side of the road. In that situation, my recommendation would be to shut down just that side of the road. just shut down that side of the road, make sure cars aren't coming in. The other option would be to shut the road down farther away from the fire scene. Or do it at the end of the street. You could do both. You could have two cruisers. For example, you could have two cruisers or one cruiser down here blocking that side, and then you could have one cruiser up here at the entrance to the street. Same concept with crime scenes. Depending on if the crime scene is blocking a road or involving a roadway, you want to shut down the area around it. Otherwise, vehicles just parked on the side of the street, like so. As a due reminder, when stopping a motor vehicle on a traffic stop, you're going to pull up your cruiser behind the vehicle you're stopping and turn it on an angle into traffic. This provides what's called the aisle of safety. As you can see here, there is at least another foot or two where you have space where cars are going to know to go around you, instead of cars coming straight up and brushing up against the side of the car you're standing in front of or next to. So this here allows traffic to realize that there's something in the roadway, give it the ability to turn, readjust, go around, and come back into the lane of travel and continue on their way. We will have an accident taking up the right-hand lane here. So we're going to have our cruisers blocking the right lane. Fire department's going to show up. I didn't put the suspect right on. Or the victim car. Alright, so here's your collision. Cruisers. Fire department's going to show up. Fire department needs to assist in the blocking. Drivers will go through cruisers. Drivers will not go through fire trucks. Or shouldn't go through fire trucks. Fire trucks are heavier, sturdier, etc. Be a lot safer with a fire truck. Ambulance will show up, ambulance will pull on the other side, and you guys can get to work. DOT. Let's see what truck. We'll use this one. DOT can pull up. Might want to do a slight blocking pattern there just to get things started. Or DOT can actually assist in the physical blocking of the lane. Or maybe on exterior border protection here. Make sure nobody drives into the scene here. But it's very important that you have vehicles that are warning drivers and then vehicles that are actually doing the blocking here, like so. Let's say, for example, we're working a accident that's involving the middle. It's sort of a bad example only because the lanes end up merging together. But say we're working something like this. You're going to want your setup to look very similar to this here. Assuming you have two engines, or an engine and a rescue, or whatever. This actually brings out its own bad example just because of how the lanes merge. Traffic is expecting to go to the right, and all of a sudden needs to shift to the left. So we're going to want, again, we're going to be warning traffic that there's going to be a lane change, and then they're going to execute that lane change. When they're approaching like this, you have space to do your work. Yeah, you probably won't have this many cruisers. You'll probably have 2, and you'll, if you're lucky, you'll be sent some other units to come help you. Things like that. If DOT were to show up, DOT gets out there and DOT will assist in the blocking of the lanes. Whatever you got to do. In a police incident, it is, in some cases, you might have to approach a building, or you might have to surround a building, or surround a property, or something of that nature. In this case, we're going to be we're going to use this house right here for a scenario. And it's going to be a high-profile scenario that requires some stealth on the part of the officers. It's highly recommended that instead of pulling right up to the front of the house, or pulling up into the driveway, right into the front, or what have you, that you park off to the side, sort of out of the way, so you can kind of see what's going on before other people see you. Let's have the other cruiser here. You guys get up there, approach the house, do what you got to do. You can always pull up on that side of the roadway as well. If we're working if we're doing a scenario, we need to lock down the house. You're going to want officers on all 4 corners of the residence. So in this case, the next cruiser is going to probably either come up to here, or they'll come up around back to this side. You guys are trying to make sure nobody's going to try to run out of this residence here. The other cruiser will probably come up to about here, and you guys will be watching the house. In the case of a SWAT scenario, SWAT truck will roll in. They'll do their thing. Block whatever they got to block. Sometimes you might be requested to shut down the roadway. You can do it somewhat near the scene. So I wouldn't recommend, especially in a SWAT call, I wouldn't recommend any closer than 2 houses. So that's 2 houses there. This is the end of the street, so can't really do much more than that. And just make sure you're blocking the entire roadway. Prevent traffic from coming in, from hitting cops, from hitting suspect, whatever. When working a dangerous situation like this, FD is going to stage, fire department's going to stage. The fire department's going to stage outside of the hot zone, considering this the hot zone. Fire EMS is probably going to stage a block away at minimum. So they'll be parked out here, and they have to wait for the all clear from the PD to come in and go to work. It's important when going to a call that you park on the same side of the roadway as the call you're going to. So in this case, we're just going to do a medical for an example. Cop is probably going to be first on scene. Cop's going to pull up, and they'll either pull up past the house or before the house. We're using this house. They're parked before or after, and give space for the ambulance to pull up. Ambulance pulling up right in front. Fire truck may accompany the ambulance. Just remember that the ambulance needs to be in the front of the residence or back into the driveway. I have seen that. Ambulance backs into the driveway. Much better access to the front door of the house, wherever you're going to. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick example of a commercial building fire here. It's more so up to fire chief discretion or fire supervisor discretion to make a tactical decision as to where fire vehicles are placed. For this example, we're going to use this Dollar Pills store as the main body of which the fire call is located at. Again, truck company, ladder company, those are going to be right up in front, right near the actual physical structure. Engine companies will be back a little bit. For this, like I said earlier, we don't really use ladder trucks or tower trucks or truck companies in general. So, first due, pull up right in front. Second due, pull off to one of the sides. The chief will probably make the decision as to who and when this happens. You're going to want a company to at least check the rear or the sides of the structure. Make sure there's no fire or smoke showing. The ambulance is going to be outside of the main area of the fire, but easy access, easy exit. So we're going to park the ambulance here. They can pull out this way if they end up getting a patient. The cops are going to be on the outside of the area. They're going to be making sure nobody that shouldn't be coming in, nobody that should be there. They're going to make sure that the fire department can find the building that is having the issue, and that nobody that shouldn't be there goes into the fire scene. That's the PD's job. Fire department will do their work. Forgot the command unit. Command unit's going to be right out in front, but out of the way.